Hey everyone, welcome to Cinemax Recap. Today, I will explain American horror film House of Wax. This video tells the story of a group of friends who get stranded on the way to a football match and end up in an abandoned wax museum. But the events that unfold find them running from the murderous brothers who manage the place. Let us watch the video to learn whether the group could tackle the Waxed brothers or not. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this content. Spoilers ahead. At the start of the movie, an elderly woman is seen boiling some wax. She adds liquid to a wax mask. Her serene son is eating Cheerios next to her. Their second child is struggling mightily to get free of her husband's grasp as he enters the room holding him. The parents then rope the youngster forcefully to a chair, acting in a highly cruel manner. A group of adolescents is preparing to embark on a road trip to witness a sporting event when the scene cuts to the current day. The fiery Carly, Paige, Wade, Nick, who is Carly's bad boy twin, Blake, a laid-back guy who has fallen for Paige, and Dalton, the slime guy who enjoys filming his pals, are all present. A pair of automobiles are filled with the friends group, and they depart. Paige advises that they stop for the night and rest somewhere after a few hours. They decide to make camp in a remote area of the forest. A rush of the breeze sweeps in their direction shortly after that, and everyone soon starts to smell something awful emanating from the forest. They choose to ignore it for the time being and continue to have fun around their campfire. Suddenly, a truck arrives from nowhere, abruptly halting their festivities. The group then asks the driver to get out of the car, but he makes no response. The driver continues to be unwilling to exit the vehicle even after Nick tosses the bottle toward the truck. The truck then pulls away after a brief delay. Later that evening, when everyone was asleep, someone took Dalton's camera and started photographing them. Carly is abruptly awakened by the faint noise and walks to look into it. She discovers nothing, though. Dalton finds his camera missing in the morning. As they are about to go, Wade's car's fan goes malfunctions. Carly and Paige are elsewhere in the forest making out while the boys are still at camp. Once more, the wind strikes and the vile smell follows. Carly chooses to look into it out of curiosity. She tumbles into an opening as she is walking. It appears that a ditch filled with decaying roadkills from which the offensive odor is arising. Carly notices someone's hand sticking out, which is even worse. While the boys race into the woods to assist her, she cries in terror. When she finally comes out, a truck approaches and pulls up next to them. When Wade alerts the driver to the hand sticking out, he stops dumping additional animal remains into the ditch and begins to approach the hand. The driver is then questioned about the closest petrol station where a new fan belt can be purchased. Then, when the guy offers to drive Wade there, Wade's girlfriend Carly is only too happy to accompany him. The remainder of the group decides to leave the two in the care of the dubious man because they are not interested in missing out on the game. Carly and Wade are driven to the adjacent town of Ambrose after the others are dispersed. Wade and Carly, however, eventually have doubts. The strange man declares that they only have to drive a short distance further, but Wade and Carly, who are already alarmed by him, insist on continuing to walk. While this is going on, the other members of the group are caught in snarled traffic and realize they will never arrive at the game in time. So they decide to go back. Returning to Wade and Carly, they can be seen strolling down the main street of Ambrose, which is hauntingly quiet. Paige makes a phone call to Carly letting her know that the rest of the group is returning to their campground. The couple arrives at the petrol station but discovers no one there, so they choose to continue walking until they reach the community church. They discover that there is a funeral there as soon as they unlock the door. Soon after, a man leaves the church, who happens to be the owner of the local petrol station. He introduces himself as Beau and asks Wade and Carly to wait at the petrol station while he wraps up at the church, where they are attending a beloved friend's funeral. The pair decides to stop by the House of Wax in the community as entertainment. Despite an indication stating that it is shut down, they nevertheless go inside. The two then start looking into it, seemingly in amazement at the fact that nearly everything around them is made of wax, even the building's walls. Carly then begins to panic, but Wade calms her down and reassures her that she has nothing to be concerned about. Carly decides to examine the other rooms while Wade searches the interior for the figure in question. She panics when she hears a knock and sees a wax statue waiting behind her. They then decide to go to a petrol station. On the other hand, the remainder of the group has returned to camp. Blake, who wants some alone time with his fiancée, asks Nick and Dalton to take the car and pick up Carly and Wade. The two of them, Carly and Wade, arrive at the petrol station. Wade looks for something, but he can't find it. Suddenly, Beau enters and tells them that he keeps the precise fan belt Wade needs in his home. Wade and Carly are forced to accompany him to his home to obtain the fan belt. After hearing this, Beau decides to share a tale with them about the town's House of Wax, which turns out to have been a family enterprise in the past. Trudy was the principal artist, and her son Vincent continued her work. When Doc Sinclair, Trudy's husband, had his medical license canceled for carrying out an unlawful treatment, The entire family relocated to this tiny city to start over and establish this wax museum. After Trudy passed away from brain cancer, her husband committed suicide because he was unable to handle her passing. Additionally, their 2 sons landed in foster care. When they get there, Wade requests to use the lavatory, and Carly chooses to wait in Beau's truck because he volunteered to drive them home. Wade chooses to look into a particular area within the house after using the lavatory. The room is stuffed with odd objects, including a doctor's license for a man named Victor Sinclair. Carly exits the truck in the meantime. She notices that one of the truck's headlamps is broken, indicating that it is the same vehicle she and her friends witnessed the night before. She sprints to sound the truck's horn after realizing they are in danger. The lights inside the home suddenly dim, and Wade is left behind as the door closes. Suddenly, a shadowy person approaches and uses a pair of scissors to cut off his heel before laying him down and knocking him out. Outside in a panic, Carly tries to phone Paige for assistance, but no one picks up. She quickly enters the truck after that, locking herself inside, which infuriates Beau. Beau forces his way inside and tries to yank her out. Fortunately, Carly can counterattack by moving the gear stick. The truck becomes stuck as she tries to drive away. She then notices Beau standing in front of the truck, which only makes matters worse. Carly makes her escape out of the rear and flees for her life. Wade, who is hardly awake, is carried away and placed on top of a table while she flees. After giving him medicine that would paralyze him, the wax sculptor Vincent Sinclair stitches him up and prepares him to become his latest work of art. When Carly returns to the main street at last, all the lights abruptly come on as if they were programmed to do so. She then decides to flee inside the church to obtain assistance, but she finds everyone still. In addition, it transpires that a single audio player that was installed inside the space is the source of all the noises in the cathedral. She freaks out when she sees a human hand. When she pulls out the prayer book, we discover that the body within is Trudy Sinclair's mother. Her body has been painstakingly maintained in wax, just like every other wax figure in the room. Then, as footsteps near the church, Carly runs for cover. Soon after, Beau comes into the room and calls the corpse in the casket his mama. He starts looking for Carly and is about to turn around and go away when he spots her. He manages to catch her this time when she escapes his grasp and makes it back outside. She cries out for assistance, but no one responds. Dalton and Nick arrive at last during this time. Since their car couldn't pass the rocky terrain, they get out of the vehicle. Beau binds Carly to a chair in the basement of the gas station. Beau was the child that was restrained to the chair at the beginning of the movie, as evidenced by the scarlet gash she discovers around his wrist. Beau is then interrupted when Nick and Dalton bang on the upper door. He scares her with a knife while placing it in her throat. Nick and Dalton search for Wade and Carly outdoors. Beau covers Carly's lips with super glue in the background to prevent her from yelling for help. She searches for a way to escape after he departs. Her brother approaches Beau upstairs and inquires about his sister. Carly, who heard her brother's voice below them, starts to call for aid while Beau acts as if he is clueless. To get her brother's attention, Carly finally gets up from the chair and tries pushing her finger through the manhole. Beau, however, cuts off her finger to silence her. Beau then offers to assist Nick in his search for his buddies as Carly fights to remove the super glue from her lips. When Nick hears Carly cry, Beau strikes him as he turns around. Before racing downstairs to save his twin sister, he bursts inside the petrol station, blocking Beau's way. Wade is sitting by the piano when Dalton enters the wax museum. Dalton attempts to remove the wax from him but instead tears off his skin. Wade is sobbing and clearly in pain, but Dalton keeps ripping his skin off. Vincent suddenly slips up behind him and begins pursuing him. Dalton is captured by him, and he cuts off his head. Nick and Carly quickly head upstairs after realizing Beau has left. Nick tries to call the police helpline, but the phone is unreachable. They next visit a residence nearby where a senior citizen resides who had observed Carly being attacked outside by Beau. It becomes clear that the woman has also been transformed into a wax figure. When Paige is in her camp at the campsite, she sees a figure of a girl and panics. As she stutters, she discovers Blake bleeding to death from a throat wound. She spots a strange building while rushing through the woods and hides inside. The lights come on and it looks like a garage. When she senses there is someone there, she grabs a pole and runs into a car. However, when Vincent notices her and opens the car's window, she strikes him with the pole and makes an escape attempt. Sadly, when she is hiding behind the car, he climbs up and kills her. Nick enters a hunting store illegally to obtain a weapon when he returns to town. Beau, though, shows up there in the interim and fires directly at them. While Beau looks for them, they elude him by entering a theater and dressing as spectators. Out of panic, Carly cries, grabbing Beau's attention. However, Nick kills him by shooting an arrow into his chest. They then travel to Beau's home, the place where Carly last saw Wade. Then, Carly discovers a drawer holding newspaper articles about a doctor operating questionably on a pair of Siamese twins. Suddenly, they witness the still alive, injured Beau entering the home. In front of a mirror, he removes arrows from his body. Additionally, Vincent shows up with wax all over his face. Bo, a bully and manipulator, has been persuading Vincent to convert the residents of the village into wax statues to maintain their family's heritage. In the meantime, Carly and Nick succeed in eluding them and enter the cellar. They switch off the lights in different parts of town. Bo and Vincent notice something happening upstairs. The twins then explore the sewers and end themselves at Vincent's desk, where they discover Dalton being waxed. Regrettably, Vincent arrives before they have much chance to mourn their sadness. In their attempt to fend him off, the twins unintentionally ignite the massive wax melting furnaces. The twins ascend to the wax museum, where they once more meet face to face with Bo. Even though he was just literally shot with arrows, he is still tremendously powerful. He fights Nick until Nick is stabbed in the thigh, after which he fights Carly, who uses a baseball bat to beat him to death. When Vincent gets there, he is horrified to see his brother dead. He continues to pursue Carly as the wax museum starts to melt. When Nick enters the room, he knocks Vincent to the bed as he is about to attack Carly. He succeeds in pinning Nick to the ground, but Carly pulls the knife from her brother's thigh and employs it to attack Vincent, who then tumbles into Bo below. The twin ultimately escapes the melting structure by breaking through the wall with what strength they still have. The flaming building crumbles as they exit. The village buzzes with police investigators at the following scene. A sheriff approaches Nick and Carly as they are relaxing inside an ambulance. The town has been deserted for the previous 10 years, they are informed. As the twins are being driven away, the sheriff is informed that the Sinclair family did not have 2 sons but rather 3. The movie ends there. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment what you think I should recap next and I'll see you in the next video.